first interview, and the first one to be a little shorter. Yeah, be careful of that chair.
I'm just trying to sit up.
Yeah. Okay, so we're all set? Okay, we're here with Michael Lampel, President of Insurance for Children. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Jerry, for having me.
So tell me in a nutshell a little bit about the business and also how you got into the business.
Well, Jerry, the way I got into Insurance for Children is a company dedicated to providing parents and grandparents safe and reliable investment products for their children and grandchildren's future.
Right.
I got into it as a father of 3 kids. When I had my last child when she was 9 months old and I was 48, I had to think outside the box in terms of her financial future. And what I did was I researched all around the world for something that would pay her for life.
Right.
And discovered that there was really nothing available out there. And then one day I learned from other people and from other people I've spoken to about participating in life insurance, which were basically permanent insurance contracts that were going to gather and pay her for life. She was going to earn an interest and dividend for her entire life.
Okay.
As I presented this to my wife, and she said she never really heard about it, and I began to speak to other people about it. They were just amazed. They said, "How come this is fantastic? We've never heard about it." I researched all around Canada.
Right.
Couldn't find any other products available, and that's when the idea came to me. I wanted to help parents and grandparents provide something that they can create for their children.
And people don't really associate insurance with children so much, do they?
They don't associate insurance because a lot of the times, especially in our contracts, these contracts which have been around for 100 years, no one has talked to families about them for the past 20 years.
Right, okay. So how do your programs, your products differ from the more typical government-assisted financial help that's available to people?
Our products are investment products. They're not government programs such as the RESP. Our products, especially our participating whole life plan, which is child plan, are a combination of permanent life insurance plus a guaranteed cash value that will build up throughout their entire life, and it pays them for their whole life.
Right.
So they're not government programs.
So why are they better programs? And tell me, can't they also be done in conjunction with some of these other programs?
They are different programs. These are safe and reliable investment products that will pay them for life.
Okay.
And yes, they can absolutely use them in conjunction with government programs or anything else.
Right.
The greatest advantage of their flexibility is that they can be used both for paying for education, they can be used for first down payment on a home, they can be used as a financial asset throughout life, and it will pay my child an annual payment for the rest of her life that she can use for whatever she wants. So it pays her for life.
Can you throw some numbers at us to let us know what kind of numbers are possible?
Absolutely. The typical deposit is, let's say, $2,500 a year.
Okay.
By the time the child is, you can buy it for a child under the age of 1, and by the time they're in their 30s, there's as much as $250,000 that they could use for whatever they want.
$250,000.
$250,000.
Okay.
And it can continue growing for the remainder of their life.
Right. I wish my parents did that for me. That would be great. What are the drawbacks of an RRSP?
The drawbacks of the RESPs are merely that they are for government. They're a government program for education only.
Right.
Our plan, child plan, is not a government program, so it's not limited to what the parents can use it for.
Okay.
It is a financial, it's an investment that they can give tax-free to their children anytime after 18.
But I'm sure the government considers that an investment too, don't they?
RESPs are not investment, the government programs. However, when parents put money into it, they have to make decisions where to invest.
Well, they say they're investing in their child's education or something like that, or RESP, right?
Yes.
Okay.
RESPs are just government programs.
Right, okay. Okay.
But that's a good point.
All right. So you said, the term earlier, you mentioned 100 years. If this idea of yours has been around for so long, why did it seem to disappear or fall out of practice?
I think, about 20 years ago, the financial services, companies just turned to the stock market, and they primarily focused on that.
Right.
Those who knew these contracts have always been around continued to offer them to parents. And when I researched for my child, who was 9 months old at the time when I had her, I just had to think of something outside the box. I wanted to make sure that whatever she had, she could use throughout her entire life.
So you got into this through your own personal life, personal experience, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because 3 children, and then the youngest was 9 months old when I was 48 and I had her.
Okay.
I had to think a lot differently than I thought with the first 2.
And people today are having children later than they used to, right?
They are having children later, and therefore or when they get to their retirement age, their children are going to be facing
Yeah,
colleges, universities. So it was more a question of if I wanted to build wealth for my child, I had to do it as early as possible.
right.
I couldn't wait 10 or 15 years to begin to think about our financial
So
future.
when your last child was born, you said 48. So were you thinking at that point about what we're talking about now, or did it just kind of hit you one day over the head?
I was thinking about it from the very beginning. I mean,
Yeah.
having experience in life was a great thing, because having had that experience of the first two children, having had the experience of getting older, was realizing that I would get older, but I had to look at her life.
Right, right,
So when I researched things for her life, I said I needed something that was guaranteed, that was flexible,
right,
that had a history of paying her for her whole life,
right,
and the flexibility she could do whatever she wanted with it later on in life.
right.
And that's how I got into it. And when I researched around, and I said, I couldn't find any other company that was devoted to helping families plan for their children's future, that's how I created the company.
But even though these products were available,
Yes.
but you couldn't find anybody who actually was delivering them?
Predominantly, most people have been, learning about things either through their own connections or researching.
Right,
And in today's world, the ability to just provide the information to the public, let them make their own choices, I couldn't find any other companies that.
so the public is kind of left to fend for themselves.
They're left to fend for themselves.
Okay,
So when parents now want to learn more about what we do, they can go to our website, insuranceforchildren.ca, if they want to learn
Right.
what the differences are.
yeah,
By all means, our website, insuranceforchildren.ca, has a ton of information.
okay. Michael, tell me this, how does a family of modest means, be they young grandparents or young parents with little kids or grandparents, how do they afford your programs if they're of modest means?
I think this is a good product for anyone who wants to build a future for their children.
Mm-hmm.
They make their own decisions. These contracts, these savings plans are based entirely on their budget. Whatever their budget is, they can have it.
Okay.
Typically, $2,500 is doable. That's only a few coffees a day at Starbucks,
Right,
and they can manage it.
$2,500 in a year.
$2,500 a year.
Yeah.
That's a typical type of deposit.
Right.
Our plans can grow significantly over time for the
Right.
child.
Right.
However, parents, I think,